Hey, what is up? It is Dan McDonald. I am the Life Regenerator here on YouTube, and I am celebrating 3 years today of semen retention. And I wanted to make a video for the gentlemen out there. I usually don't make videos like this, but in a minute I'm going to tell you why I'm making this particular video. This is just for the young men, the more mature men, everybody. 25 years ago, I found out about everything all in one day: raw foods, fasting, meditation, and semen retention, all from one book. And I've been working diligently ever since. I was visited by a light after I read that book, and it completely transformed my life. I did a 180. It takes a while to get sober. It takes a while to break all the bad habits, but I've been working at it diligently for about 25 years, and that's when I started practicing semen retention. Now, of course, I wasn't very good at it, and I've had a lot of girlfriends along the way. Some a little more spunky than others. I've had ladies very upset that I wouldn't release my seeds so easily. I probably averaged anywhere between 1 and 2 orgasms a year for many years. And then as I began to evolve and study the literature more, there's plenty of literature out there. Continence, semen retention, celibacy, chastity, brahmacharya. There's different levels to it for sure, but as you mature into it, things become clearer and clearer. As you mature as a man, you begin, because when you're very young, you don't have the ability to weigh the pros and the cons. You are just horny and you don't care. So you do a lot of dumb things. And then over time, with the chaos of relationships and some of the bad things that can happen when you're in a relationship with a woman, or when it ends, or all the money, time, and energy that you waste. Now that's kind of the main premise, but it goes a lot deeper. I'm not going to make too long of a video today. I'm just celebrating and documenting 3 years of semen retention. Like I said, in a minute I'm going to tell you why I decided to make this video when normally I don't, because society is way behind the curve on this one. They just do not understand. Most of humanity basically right now is live today, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die. And that's true. Or you could also say, preserve yourself, focus on the Most High, find the treasure of eternity, and live forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a spiritual thing than anything else, but it's also a practical thing as well. There's a lot of practical and pragmatic value. I'm not against sex at all, but I think what I term conscious sexuality is important for people to understand. Be conscious about what you're doing with your sexual energy, both men and women. Men tend to get just tired and weak from too much, orgasm and depletion of a vital nutrient source. It's an oil that lights the lamp. I had that experience just this morning. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Women tend to pick up all the bull crap from men. And so they walk around with lots and lots and lots of layers of energy, men's DNA. And the more partners she has, the more debris she picks up. There is one cure for that, and it's water only fasting. And you can release all the energy of the past from the men, because the women receive, so they take in all that energy and it gets stuck in there. That's why women get grouchier and grumpier generally as they get older. More and more experiences, more and more heartbreak, more and more energy. So as a man, though, what you do is you drain your vital force, and you get weak, and you lose your motivation. And it's true. No one wants to admit it. I'm not saying that making love to your wife is not a great thing, but here's the thing. I guess one thing I'll bring up. You can most certainly learn to make love to a woman. I see all these boner drugs and stuff like that. I'm telling you, if you watch my videos and you learn and just look at what I'm doing, and you eat real food and you get sleep and and exercise and eliminate stress from your life and live in alignment with nature's laws, you'll never need the boner drugs. If you're with a woman and you're not getting a hard-on, you need to ask yourself, what is wrong with me, or what is wrong with her, or what is wrong with us? Okay, because if you live like I do, I'm in my 50s, so I go to bed with a hard-on, I wake up with one, and I fight it all day long. Lust is powerful, but you can learn to transform it into a form of energy that works for you. Mostly spiritually at this point, but also for your finances, for your physical fitness, for your motivation. Life is about procreation. You can either spend your time procreating in that way, making babies, which I totally agree with, making babies. You know, if you can make 2 or 3 babies in this life, then that's a really good thing. Make sure you can afford it and you don't pick the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? But that's a long story also. But I just want to make a video for the guys, because you know, you can waste a lifetime. I wasted a lot of energy, and we didn't have mentors and we didn't have information back then. We were some super ghetto kids, man, for sure. So we had no mentors, we had no knowledge, no access to information like this, where we can preserve our seminal fluid and use it as a tool to motivate and inspire ourselves. So you can make life without, but you can also make life within. And that's what I recommend, is preserve that seminal fluid and let that life go within. Keep that life within yourself. I'm gonna start doing trail running too pretty soon, because it's awesome. I always take off running when I get excited. But anyways, that's, yeah, I guess I'll tell you why I made this video. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on about this subject. Let me say, before I tell you the story and the reason why I made this video, because you're gonna wanna know this, you know, but the diet is huge. When you overeat, especially too much spicy food, I think the best food, see, the thing is you don't wanna be a little sissy crybaby bitch boy either with a low vibe diet where you're eating too much estrogen forming food. But you want to have a balance of nutrition without excessively stuffing yourself, because stuffing your stomach with too much food is probably the #1 reason why you want to bust a nut. Now here's the thing. When there's a calorie restriction, nature procreates less. And that's because nature is like, there's not enough food. We don't want to procreate and bring new life into this scenario where there's not enough food. So calorie restriction affects men and women. So that's one thing. So if your calories are too low, you won't have reproductive capacity for either men or women. But if you have plenty of calories, but the thing is, you can have nourishing calories that are not stimulating. So simple, plain peasant food is the best. It's called sattvic food in Ayurvedic, in the Hindu traditions. And then there's the Rajasic food, which is the food of soldiers, warriors, and CEOs. So the sattvic food is for the spiritual people, the intellectuals, and then the Rajasic food is for the warriors and the athletes and the CEOs. And the tamasic food is for the people who are fat and lazy and sick and lethargic. So the tamasic food is like highly processed, microwaved, reheated food. Rajasic food is more like the animal foods and the stimulating herbal spices. And then the sattvic food is more like the grains, the fruits, and the nuts, and things like that. I'm not going to get into the whole food preparation thing right now, but basically if you eat whole, natural, plain, simple foods, then you'll be able to not build your ojos without stimulating your testicles or your ovaries if you're a woman too. So the excessively spicy, highly salted foods tend to make you, especially different types of stimulating and irritating oils. a lot of Indian food, for example, Chinese food, for another example, spices, hot peppers, the different mustards, the garlics, the onions, and things like that. There's different oils in the in different types of seeds, nuts, herbs, and spices that are excessively stimulating. They irritate the gonads and make you want to release your seed. Okay, so you want to eat natural, plain, simple, wholesome foods. Then you've got to get your mind under control. That's the toughest part, and I'm still working on that myself, because I think women are the most beautiful thing God ever made. That being said, I wasted a lot of time, energy, and resources with the wrong women. I mean, I wouldn't even say that, really. I was the one that didn't really know what the hell I was doing, so I didn't know how to manage or lead the situation. So anyways, I mean, I guess it's never too late to learn, to become a better man. I think after everything I've been through, especially recently, the last maybe decade especially, I really learned a lot. I did a 40-day water fast and activated my 1.21 gigawatts, and then I had like, 10 girlfriends at one time. I didn't even mean for that to happen, but I was just at the top of my game, financially, energetically, spiritually, physically. I was just vibing so high. But then it wasn't until I busted a nut that all went away. When I went inside of a woman, this is very private information, but I made love to 2 women. I made love to one woman who was pressuring me. And then I regretted that right away. And then I went over and made love to the woman I really wanted to. But then I realized, then I got involved with a whole bunch of other ladies and stuff. And they're all cool. I'm friends with most of them now, still, as a matter of fact. I don't have a bad thing to say about any woman I've ever been with in my life, to be honest with you. That's the kind of guy that I am, People are people, whatever. They cheat on me, they leave. I've done my fair share of all that stuff too. With the relationship wars, I see it as like, who's to blame? Of course, the unevolved women are going to blame the men, and the unevolved men are going to blame the women. But really, you just have to look at yourself and realize that you were magnetizing your unconscious programs. And people don't want to take that level of responsibility, but if you're one of those intelligent people, take that level of responsibility for your own magnetic frequency and what you're subconsciously attracting to yourself. And then if you take responsibility, you can change that, and you can evolve and grow and attract better relationships in your life. So that's pretty much it. And the reason why I made this video, pretty much it. Like I said, I could keep going on, and I'm not gonna today. I'll actually stop now. But the reason why I even made this video was because this morning I had, which is funny because it's not exactly 3 years, it's 3 years and 2 days, okay? Because I remember exactly the last time that I released my seed, and I did it consciously on purpose with a woman that I love very much, and I let that go on purpose, and it was worth it, And yes, it does take several weeks, months, and even years. And the longer you go retaining your seed with the more intention that you give it and the less lustful thoughts that you have, and the more that you can channel that energy towards either your money, your physical fitness, your hobbies, or in my case, I like to focus most of the energy on the God consciousness during meditation and contemplation throughout the day. So I have devoted my whole life to the Most High God, and so I try to take that energy. Of course, I've still got some mental habits and stuff, and I think, like I said, women are the most beautiful thing that God ever created, and I can understand and appreciate why humanity survived, because you see it and it gets you excited and you want to do it, and people do it. But what you want to do is you want to be conscious about it. You want to be conscious and intentional, and if you're not, then it's weak. And it's like social masturbation, and it's a waste of time, energy, and resources. If you're making love to your wife, that's epic. You can even save your seed with that though too. And I became an expert at that over the years for sure. You can go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. The other thing too is if you preserve your seminal fluid, you're always ready to go. You can make love to your wife or your girlfriend 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times a day. And as long as you don't release, and you can learn to go to before you even get to the edge, as a matter of fact. So you learn it as a skill. And then you just make love to her. She's a dizzy Lizzie making you a sandwich and a green juice. And you're just living the high life because you're strong as a bull moose in heat all the time. You know, so there's many levels to it also. And then there's complete and total brahmacharya, where you don't even really want to have one thought about a woman. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working my way there slowly. It's not about being an incel, involuntary celibate, where you just can't get laid or anything like that. Now, if that's a problem, of course. But what happens is the more you save that energy and the less you jerk off and masturbate and lose your seed, the more motivation you'll have to get your chubby butt into shape. You'll want to play less video games, get outside and lift weights more. And if you don't jerk off, then you'll be motivated to get your life together to get yourself a decent woman. But if you keep jerking off, you'll never have the courage, you'll never have the strength, you'll never have the fortitude to go after what you really want. So that's why I think it's important to, you know, at least think about it. I'm not your dad, I'm not your grandma, I'm not your guru. You know, I'm not trying to tell you how to live. I'm just sharing some ideas. I've been really blessed to find this. It's something that I'm very proud of. Well, I don't really do pride, to be honest with you, but it's something that I'm really grateful that came into my life. I found out about it, started practicing it, and 25 years later, I'm getting a lot of the results of putting the energy into that. And one of the results was this morning, what I will call the tumescent glow. I could feel the power of my testicles coursing through my entire electromagnetic energy field. And it felt really, really good. And it's the first time that that's ever actually happened. I'm getting better and better and more efficient at semen retention, celibacy, continence, and the intentional, you know, concentrated focus on utilizing that energy for specific purposes. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down below. Leave me a thumbs up. And by the way, gentlemen, I've done hundreds of consults with young men, ranging all the way from, you know, masturbation and porn addiction, all the way to, you know, trying to break addiction to the boner pills, you know, and stuff. So I've had a lot of experience with all this. Those days are behind me. You know, right at this point in my life, I'd, you know, be open to a divine union with a highly spiritual woman, not necessarily like, yeah, with someone that really, truly actually loves God, you know, and also brings a lot of value. If you're with a woman and she doesn't bring value into your life, or she doesn't make it easy for you, then I can tell you, if she's difficult and you got to try really hard, you're second or third on her roster, and she's just playing you as a backup. You don't want that. You want to be chosen first and foremost, you know, by a good woman who wants to help you and make your life better and easier and bring peace and joy and happiness into your life. And if she starts testing you and getting grumpy, then you know that you need to take care of yourself and make sure that you're not, you know, you got to make sure you're covering your end of the bargain, and make sure you're not turning into a little wimpy boy either. Simpy wimpy. You got to stay strong, you got to stay cool, and you got to stay on purpose, because women come and go. Women come and go. It is your turn. She's not your woman, it's just your turn. Everybody knows that. The men, it's best to get relationship advice from men. Okay, I'll tell you that right now, because the women, their relationship advice for other women is terrible, and it's the exact opposite. Women do not know their own subconscious, but men do, because we're more intelligent. We can see the patterns. We've had our experiences, and we know. So get advice about relationships from other men who know how women think, because the women, they're not really able to be honest, you know, with other men about what they want. They'll say all these nice sounding spiritual things, and none of it's true, you know, because the subconscious power of what nature has done, you know, is millions and billions of years old. And it's so deeply buried in their subconscious that they say all this crazy sounding stuff, and all it'll do is throw you off track. So get advice as a man from other men who've been through it and made a lot of mistakes and know how women think and how they work. But gentlemen, stay focused. You have to stay focused on yourself. Everything in this life comes and goes except the relationship that you have with yourself. So get your money right. Get your physical fitness right. Get your family vibes right. Can you dig it? And stay on purpose. Do not allow yourself to get distracted or get off track just because she's got a pretty face. Be wise and don't be a fool. Don't waste your resources. Be wise. When you're young, it's easy to hallucinate. You do dumb things. You lose a lot of money. You lose a lot of time. You lose a lot of energy. And if you need those lessons, then God bless you. But if you can think about what I'm saying and try to become more conscious and aware so you don't have to make all the same mistakes I did, you know, and you save your energy, save your money, put that money in the bank account, you know what I'm saying? And don't tell anybody it's even there, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow, the tumescent glow this morning that I got was the reason why I made this video, because if you feel that ever in your life, you'll feel like a life force is glowing inside of you, and it's coming from the creative life force energy in your testicles, entering into your nervous system and your bloodstream. And it's a very, very pleasant feeling, and I hope that you experience it someday. So preserve your energy, gentlemen, to the best of your ability. None of this is a hard and fast black and white rule. You have to do what's best for you to keep you balanced. I've never had a single problem with my prostate or any of those other kinds of things. Nothing like that. You have to learn to channel the energy. You have to put it into something positive, constructive. Build yourself up, build your body, build your mind, build your finances, build your legacy if that's what you're into. I'm not really into legacies, but anyhow, I think you get the gist. If there's any questions, if you want a consult, I can get you on the straight and narrow path. I've helped a lot of dudes, and I've read every single book I could ever find on this subject. I'm still working at it myself, but we'll always be working till the end of our days until we disappear. And it's like a dissolution into the absolute. And it's pure peace, and it's pure love, and it's pure energy. Can you dig it? Thanks for the thumbs up, and thanks for the comment. And my email is trueradianthealth@gmail.com. If you want to get a consultation with me, check that down below. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. God bless you all. Peace.